Every single season at this time, we start hearing about the Chargers, right? And how the Chargers are going to win the AFC West this season, how this is the year the Chiefs lose control over the division, etc., etc. Well, maybe in opposition to that, we have an article saying that the Chiefs are still the Chiefs and are likely to win the division, but things are going to be very, very difficult this year. And for what it's worth, I agree with that. I am very impressed by what went on in Denver last season. But while I do agree with the premise of the article we're about to look at, there's still something very, very questionable involved in the math surrounding it. Now, I want to say this at the onset. The Chiefs won 15 games last year. The Chiefs won 15 games last year. That is a rarity in the NFL. I think that it is I think one thing we have to be prepared for. We have to be prepared for the Chiefs to be a better team in 2025 because I think they will be a better team in 2025, but still win fewer than 15 games. I think that is 100% within the realm of possibility, and it's something that we have to prepare for. And look, I've been making videos about the Chiefs online for 5-6 years now. We, as a fan base, and I'm including myself in this, we have a lot of meltdowns. You know that, I know that, we know that, we've been through this together many times. We have a lot of meltdowns, and we don't have to. But let's get into it. Ranking the NFL divisions by strength heading into 2025. This is from PFF. PFF ranks the AFC West as the number 2 strongest division in all of the NFL. Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, cumulative over-under win total 37 is the number they have set here. How will we think about that moving forward? Well, we have a little bit of context coming up shortly, but the article does go on to say this. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, winners of 9 straight AFC West titles and fresh off a 3rd consecutive conference championship. They remain the team to beat, finishing last season ranked number 2 in PFF's power rankings, but the gap may be closing. The Broncos, who ranked 4th in team defensive grade, 78.8, and 2nd in EPA allowed per play in 2024, made notable additions with Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, and Jahdae Barron. Why that's so much harder to read than say, I don't know. If Bo Nix takes a step forward in his 2nd season, Denver could quickly become one of the league's toughest opponents. Important to note, sophomore slumps are a very big deal with quarterbacks in the NFL. If there are a couple things figured out about Bo Nix over this offseason that no one managed to crack during the regular season, it's going to be incumbent on Bo Nix to make the readjustments from those tells. So, I am impressed with what Denver has done, but it's very possible they don't take a step forward because they will have a second-year quarterback. The article continues thusly. Meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh's Chargers are coming off a wild card berth and are built to contend for double-digit wins again in 2025. And even the worst team in the division, now led by Pete Carroll and with Geno Smith at quarterback, is far from an easy out. Don't forget about their running back. There's no soft landing in the AFC West anymore. As far as that Raiders team is concerned, I do think that the regularization of the running game and finding a quarterback in Geno Smith that is more mistake averse than the average quarterback in the NFL will make a big difference on their win total. So here's what the division looked like last season. The Chiefs 15-2, the Chargers 11-6, the Broncos 10-7, and the Raiders 4-13. That is 40 wins total. So the article here projects the AFC West to have 37 wins, meaning 3 fewer wins than the division collectively had last season. Where will those 3 fewer wins come from? I happen to believe they're projecting all of them away from the Kansas City Chiefs because it looks to me every team in this division is improved. And like I said earlier, to improve when you get up into the extreme number of wins doesn't necessarily prove or disprove anything. So here are my projections for the division. I think that the Chiefs will win between 12 and 15 games and take the AFC West once again. The Broncos, I think, will come in second with anywhere between 10 and 12 wins. I think the Chargers are between that 9 and 11 mark, one of those sorts of around a 10-win season. And I think the Raiders could be anywhere between 3 and 7 wins. Now, 3 wins would be 1 fewer than last season, but 7 wins would be basically double the amount of games that they won last year. And I think Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, I think that duo in itself is enough to really kickstart things for a football team when you throw Ashton Jeanty on there, who I do have some doubts about, right? Because I do think that here's my projection for Ashton Jeanty, if you haven't heard it yet. I think he's Priest Holmes. Now, Priest Holmes was kind of a scrub in the NFL until he got to Kansas City. Priest Holmes had, if memory serves me correctly, he had a good rookie season and then kind of faded in his second year. That could be reversed. I can't remember. But at the time, running backs were really sort of the thing in the NFL. Running games were sort of the thing in the NFL. So it wasn't all that impressive for him to have gone off in the way that he did until he got to Kansas City. Now, this is not to diminish Priest Holmes. Every running back, just like every wide receiver, just like every quarterback, will thrive under different circumstances. You saw Jamaal Charles thrive on the Kansas City Chiefs when he did not have the offensive line that Priest Holmes had. I think that kind of benefited the way that Jamaal Charles ran. Jamaal Charles was a guy who would get you going in one direction, and then once he decided that was not the direction, he was too fast for anyone to catch. It's easier to do that behind a line that's not all that great. You think about Barry Sanders. Would Barry Sanders have been Barry Sanders had he had 5 All-Pros in front of him? Maybe, but we just don't know. Priest Holmes needed one lane. If you got Priest Holmes past the defensive line, he was going to cause problems for the entire defense. The offensive line that the Chiefs had at that time got him past the defensive line. And then he would just cause havoc for linebackers and all the defensive backs. That's all he had to do. Again, no small task, but he was very good at that. I think Ashton Jeanty might be one of these guys that has to get past the defensive line. And if he is that, and the Raiders can do that for him, it's going to be problems for the NFL for a very long time. I still think the Chiefs win the division. I don't care who does what. One thing we've seen from the Kansas City Chiefs is not only have they won so many consecutive division titles, guys, they haven't had to press to do it. The past couple of years, they've dealt with a lot of injuries. They've still taken time off at the end of the year. So it's going to be one of these things where I do think everyone else in the division is going to be better than they were last year. Will they be better enough for it to matter? I'm not sure they can get to that point. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on the channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and I hope to have you back for the next one.